Good evening, and is it hot? Isn't it hot? God blimey. My daughter came down, done a little bit of painting for me, and I was made up with that. She worked hard. She brought something to eat in for our lunch, which is nice. And we had a nice little lunch together. Then she went to pick Sophie up. So that was my day sorted. Uh, I, I, I don't know. It's I've been advised not to sit in the sun, by the doctors. Don't sit in there. It's too hot for what I've got, what I'm going through. So I can't sit out in it, especially the heat. Because I love the sun. I really do. Going away. And like you all go away for a holiday, a break. Getting away from everything. Anyway, I had to phone up for my prescription and they said, don't go out in the heat, in the sun. So I won't be able to have a tan or anything. Pale as, I might look okay on there, but I haven't had any vitamin D for a very long time. Being in the sun, the way it is, unfortunately. The way it is. I watched something today, and I've never seen it before. And it was not half emotional for all you football fans out there. And what it was I think it was through Prime and BT Sports, and it was done, it came out 2 months ago as I looked. And it was a reaction after, the Barcelona game, the 4-0 game. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. Very emotional. The players talking. Jurgen Klopp. He even swore. And the reporter went, he said, well, I'm not used to the language, he said, so I don't know how to say it. Because what he did say, you don't mind me saying, he said, it was fucking unbelievable. That's what he said. You can't say that. He said, well, I don't know how else to say it. So it's things like that I was watching. And I thought, this is great. I'll have to tell you tonight. Told you. It was through Prime and BT Sport. I think it was BT Sports and LFC TV, because they were taking clips from LFC TV and other things, But it was very emotional. Very emotional. I don't know whether it was that one or another one where you see a family. There's a teenage daughter, only young, about 16. The dad and a kid, about 10. Liverpool supporters. I don't know whether they're Irish or what. I should have seen them. And the camera was in their house. And the kid and the dad and the young girl. But the young lad should have seen it, hugging his dad. When the fourth went in, and I think it was over then, the dad, just goes to the couch, gets on his knees, and he buries his head in the couch, and his little lad runs over to, and he just grabs hold of him, It was absolutely great. I think we all reacted like that. Loads of tears. If you're a Liverpool supporter that night. But that's the first time I've ever seen that. And it was very good. Made up with it, really. And I was going to ask you if you still want me to do some football, live, you know, live shows, that is, football. Because I wasn't going to do them. And you're getting, see, the thing is, I try to interact with you rather than, I could easily put something up on my monitor over there and read from it and tell you. And that's what lots do. That's what lots do. And I'd rather interact with you than reading from what you already know anyway. See what I mean? I want your opinions. This is what I do anyway. But I got so fed up with it. I got so fed up with it. Not fed up with you or anybody else, but the trolls that was coming on. Remember when someone called me a clown and told me to fuck off? Remember that? What's that all about? What was all that about? So I'd like your opinion. I won't do it tomorrow night because England are playing. I don't support England. I've always supported Italy from a very little boy. So it's just like I've supported the Reds from a little boy. Growing up, you're not going to change your colours, are you, for anybody? And I'm not going to change my national team either. And it's only through my granddad and, my uncles who supported Italy, because they got me supporting them. You see what I'm just seeing? I've just seen a little comment there just came like so. But I know why this fella says it. I'm glad you said that, by the way, to be honest. And Mr. B says, good evening, John Franco. Hey, Mr. B, our Scottish friend. Seen your comment before. Seen your comment. And chat. My old mate, Steve Mulholland. And a big red. Good evening, Frank. Good evening, Steve. Still hasn't come up to see me, Must be shy. Or he can't drag himself away from a pub because he knows that I can't go out. Because he'd come out, you fancy a pint over the road? Can't cross the road. Can't cross the road on my own. Got to go for this pre-op on the 30th next week. Be today. So I might be doing a podcast next Monday. Might be, I don't know what I'll be doing. I don't know what to be talking about, but I know I'm going to be in there a long time. And Mr. B, what a game the Barca fought. Yes. Yes. You even had, I was listening to Ruud Gullit, and he said, he's in the studio, and he's talking after the game. And he said, that's unbelievable. He said, he says, you've got to admit it, they were our enemy when we were playing. He said, but you see that's unbelievable. He said, and I've been getting messages off my friends. He said, that's the most unbelievable game. And you've got to admit it, just like Lockstock. And he said, I'm a blue. I jumped off the chair too. And he's a blue. And he's a blue. Cheers, Lockstock. Yes. that's to do the football, isn't it? Hello, Carl. Good to see you, mate. Even the Lockstock can come on because he can talk about his team, whatever, what's happening in the city of Liverpool, that is. Because we do have two football teams, and he can talk about his Blues. Anything. Still get read out. No matter if we're bitter rivals or what. We support our teams. You're growing up. We're growing up either a blue or a red. And I know a lot of fans who don't support England. This is after 89, as you know. And what happened there? What happened there? Because we've been fighting the establishments and nothing's been done, no matter what. Nothing has actually been done. So they're fighting them. And England represents the establishments who are fighting against them. It's the way it is anyway. Little Lindsay. Oh, yeah, Lockstock. I'm a football fan. That's a cracker, that. A football fan. And it's as simple as that. I think what he means, the Lockstock, is that he's just a football fan. So he watches games. He just watches games, no matter who they are. But he's a Blue anyway. So he watches the Blues, obviously. But so the games, he's a football fan. There you go. There you have it. And little Linda. Even a Frank, hope you can enjoy a little sunshine. Linda, I just said, I was told this morning not to go out, especially in the heat. I was phoning up for me prescription that I get this week. And he said, oh, hold on. The receptionist has to talk to you. Anyway, someone came on the phone, talked to her about it. I said, don't dare go out in the heat. Oh, it's okay. The tea. Even a Frank in chat, I say, good to see you. That's what I was laughing at before. That popped up. Fuck England. Because he's Scottish. Love it. Love it. Fuck England. Oh, Mr. B says, proper Liverpool fans don't support them. That's a fact because we've been, fighting the establishment. And, even today, now, right today, with the likes of Starmer, resigning, it's going to make no difference. He's just going to carry on with APAC, whoever it's going to be. And you know what APAC is, don't you? There's going to be, he might change a few little things, but it won't make any difference about sending money to where, to the most corrupt leader and country on the planet. And they know it's corruption because they get a lot back. It's a washing machine. So nothing's going to change. Nothing whatsoever. Not with Burnham anyway. Not with him. Do you know that Burnham's an Evertonian? Yep. I'll tell you what though, what he did do when he was a Labour minister, forget what minister he was, it wasn't a big ministerial thing like Minister of Defence or, Foreign Affairs, whatever, Home Secretary. He wasn't one of them, I think. And he came up to Anfield, it was at the memorial. and someone shouted out justice for the 96. It was 96 then. And they were all shouting just because he got up to give a talk. Well, he was talking, and he was talking, he's just blabbering, like they always did at every memorial meeting. He just blabbered because we wanted justice. And he's listening. And when he finished, he went back to Downing Street, told Blair it was at the time. And he said, we've got to do something. We have to do something. So it was him, Andy Burnham. And believe it or not, who signed it? Who signed it off to for the investigation? It was none other than Keir Starmer. But he was the main man of the, of the law. He was the main man. And he signed it off. Couldn't believe it. Anyway. And CW says, sorry I'm late. Don't be sorry, madman. No. Say you're here. He's up to see you. Like and subscribe for Frank. Someone must have unsubscribed me, because I had, I was at 8.9. And now it's back to 88.88. And I thought, someone's unsubscribed me. I have an idea who it is, like. Who gives a fuck? And Linda says, do not ever change to please anyone. Just continue being yourself. Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate that, sweetheart. I really do. I really do. And Mr. V, get smashing the likes and subscribe. Thanks, mate. And another thing, you're not going to believe it. When I was talking to, about these pre-ops and that, and I can't get my tooth done until after me op on my spine. Can't do it. So I'll have to go around like that forevermore until after me. Yeah, little Lindsay. Can everyone use caps, please, to help Frank? Thank you, Lynn. And Phil. Hello, Frank and chat. Hello, Phil. Hey, Phil. And Lockstock says, Divock has retired now. I would have retired after that goal. But you see him in an interview, him and Trent, on this thing that I watched. It was great. Trent Arnold was crying, I think they all were, to be honest, but they all were. Lockstock. It's only 30 odd. Like early 33, I think. And she said, going to be bloody hot this week. Yes. Phil, what is it tonight? Going to do some history there, Phil. Lockstock. It's like Frank. Yeah. Is that about, tell you what that might be about what you're saying there? About no change in what's going to happen? Politically, no, nothing. Nothing is going to change, Lockstock. Unfortunately, Change your name, that's all. They might, as I said, you might do few little things that'll be pleasing the crowds, the people. But what'll please me if we just fucking pulled away from everything instead of sending money to a corrupt country. And I'm talking billions. Billions. And they know it's corrupt. They know how corrupt the leader is of that country. They know how corrupt he is. And his cohorts. And that's the sad thing with them knowing. And Steve says the Minton Tiles are on show in St George's Hall from next month. They used to be every August. Do you know, I'll tell you something. When I was the historical consultant for Liverpool 1, when, they were building it, we went up to St George's Hall looking around. And Everton Glass was there. I think it was Pilkington Glass, one of them two. Forget now. So I was in St George's Hall having a coffee, tea, whatever it is. And they said, as I said, I don't know, I'm sure it was Pilkington Glass, Pilkingtons, from St Helens. Was it St Helens Glass? I don't know. One of them anyway, a hardcore glass firm. And they said, what we'll do for 250, now don't forget they got millions to refurbish it off the lottery and other funding. I think they got 14 million. Or it could have been a lot more, actually. I think it was 24 million, to do the hall. And we were sitting down talking. Where's the fella from? And he said, what we can do for the Minton tile floor is put glass across. Unbreakable glass. You won't even be able to scratch it. And we'll put that in, so you can walk on it. And I'm not talking on the floor, the Minton tiles. I'm talking about up. Because it's a bath, isn't it? So it would have gone right over. Right over. And you could have walked on it and looked down at the floor. And that would have cost 250 grand. I said, I hope they get that. I hope they do that. That'd be fantastic, that, for the people, the public. Because when I went in, cracking fella, named Frank George, he said to me, he was the manager of the North End, where the Stebble Fountain is, it's the North End. And he said to me, listen, Frank, I know that you bring people in because they lifted the floor after years to see the Minton tiles, And anyway, I walked in. He said, listen, Frank, he stopped me. He said, I know that you bring people in. Don't let them walk on the floor. No matter who it is. Please don't walk on it. I said, does that include me, Frank? And he went, yeah. I said, no, I'm only joking. So anyway, we're saying that. And then listening to what must have been Pilkington, what they were saying about putting the sheet, unbreakable glass, across the floor so people can walk. I thought that would have been a great idea. But they said it was too much, 250 grand. I think it spoiled it. I really did. Just spoiled it. Because when I brought people in, sell them, don't go on the floor. It Prince Charles, the time, so you can't go on there, mate. Fucking pulled them back and everything. But he went to step on it until I seen them fellas go. Grabbed his out, yeah, went in the middle of the floor. Frank Richardson said, you can't go on it. Cracking fella, Frank. So that was, it's strange the way some people react to everything. Include myself, let's be honest. Include myself. And Lockstock says, well, maybe that's about to change. Which, I'm sorry, I'm way behind you now. And the T says, I hear Burnham was going to be the next. Yeah, he is. That's a foregone conclusion now. A foregone conclusion. Yeah, I'm a toffee, but appreciate great moments in any match, whoever it may be. There you go, Lockstock, Blue. But it's anything, isn't it, really? It's anything. When you see, great play. Great play. I was there, and also at Istanbul. Just, it was immense. So you get all that, you get everything, to be honest. You get everything. And it lives with you. It lives with you. It's just like when you played in the 66 cup final against Sheffield's Wednesday, Lockstock. And you were getting beat. And Treblecock scored, didn't he? But as they called him, Treblecock. Don't call him Treblecock. Why? It's his fucking name, that's it. But anyway, he scored. And he's had a great team there. A very good team. And he's beat the England goalkeeper on Springer to win the FA Cup. Great moment for all the Blues. And bringing it back to the city. Open top bus. They're the times. The times when the city needed it, to be honest. What we were going through. And my old mate Steve, I used to follow Spain when they had Torres and a few LFC players. Liverpool fans used to turn up with flags watching Spain. Yeah. Yeah, they did. And Mr. B says, I heard England last night shouting, we hate Scousers, fuming. I'm Scottish. Of course they do. Of course they hate us. They do. But hate us. And I think the Lockstock should take notice of this. Oh, yes, he's a Blue. It's not just Liverpool fans, it's all Scousers. And that's the problem we have. That's the problem, just like what you said. So if you're fuming and you're Scottish, can you imagine what we feel? But to be honest, Mr. B, it's become that much that it's gone like water off a duck's back. Honestly, what these people are saying about Scousers. I've had so many of them, not just on here, but I'm talking about out and about. I was doing something. I was doing this walk for. They used to ask me to go over to. I forget where it was. Somewhere over the water. I always forget the name of the place. For a weekend every year, and there was a lot of people who used to go to this place. And they used to ask me to go in and give talks, and I said, all right. And anyway, it was nice weather, and he said to me, would you take them out for a walk? I said, yeah. He said, what we'll do, we'll drive you down. We'll get a coach, drive you down to the Pierhead, Birkenhead ferry. He said, get the ferry over. So I said, okay, yeah. So anyway, he did that. And these people were from Hampshire. And there was quite a few of them. And all as I got through, as I was in Liverpool going around the city centre, all as I got was, certainly not. It must have been London. Certainly not. Must have been London. Certainly not. Of this rare lady from Hampshire. I couldn't believe it. And I said, no, it was here. Being polite and nice and respectful to this woman. And I'll give you an example. I said about the first wet dock, because it was down there, you see. And I brought them along there and we went in. I said, that was the first in the world. We set everything up for all the docks throughout the world. We were the first. Look. No, must have been London. So okay. And then came out again, and I had my thing with me, and I showed the people with me about the first overhead railway, electrified in the world, with electrified signals and escalator. There was none of that in the world. Surely not. Must have been London. This is what I'm getting. I said, well, where's your overhead railway? I've never seen it. Today, where is it? And then I was talking about, different types of things going on with the history of Liverpool and the face that we gave to the world. Wouldn't have it. Wouldn't have it. So, you give up. So I've had these type of people before. They just do not think Liverpool is worthy of anything. I said about the railway. Never mind the overhead railway. No, it started in London. I said, whereabouts? Where does it lead to? I said, we had a Liverpool-Manchester railway. I said, there was Liverpool people who made it up. I said, let's get a railway. Let's bring passengers and goods to and from Manchester. And funny enough, I had a thing on. I had in my portfolio. I said, yeah, listen to this. So I read it out and it was printed out. And it was by John Leland. And this was written in 1537. And it was the first thing ever written about Liverpool. And it said, Liverpool alias Leopold, because that's what we were called. It was Latin, in Latin. So I read it out. Liverpool alias Leopold. This is in 1537. By John Leland, who was the antiquary and librarian to Henry VIII. So I'm reading this out. And it said, Liverpool, a paved town. It has a port that Manchester men do buy there. I said, we were trading with Manchester. An island. That's what he says, about islands. And certainly not You just think that Liverpool gave the world nothing. Nothing. And anyway, I said, well, all right. I said, what we've got? I said, we've got a hospital, research hospital, that is, for malaria and other dangerous diseases. I said. And she said, no, we've got one in London. I said, most probably you have, but we started one up in 1899 here in Liverpool. I said, we had the very first blind school, Edwin Rushton's blind school. See, when I mentioned about the School of Tropical Medicine, but this woman really was getting on my nerves. And it wasn't until the people around her, who were also from Hampshire, as I said, told her to shut up. But she kept going on. And I told her to shut up, and I wasn't invited back after that. After going for about 6 years, every year. So you see, it's a matter of, I think the woman only came on an excursion, with her friends. They must have invited her up and stayed the weekends at this place. But people, unfortunately, don't believe us, what we've given the world. I wear a kilt in bed, I wear a kilt in bed. And Linda says, yeah, he is a Scotia. He is. And he supports Everton. That's what I said before. But he's not a Scotia in the thing, is he? Really? If you know what I mean, then. Old Rome. Old Rome. Is that where he lived? In Old Rome. And Phil said, chatted to Andy Burnham with his family on our way home from holiday. Stood next to us in the airport queue. My wife thought he was a David Miliband. They're all tarnished with the same brush. And people can fall out with, with other people over. Really can, over politics. Politics are the most dangerous things you can talk. They say religion and football, but politics mostly. Can I just thank my sponsors, please? And it's Gap Painting Services. Gap Painting Services. If you know any NHS workers or any elderly, they get a special discount off these. Because if they're doing any decorating, tell them not to struggle. Please tell them. And they get a special discount. They really do. That's Gap Painting Services. And if you don't fit into those categories of elderly, even if you know someone, even if it's your elderly parents or grandparents, and they want decorating, tell them to get them a special discount. And NHS workers, whether it's a cleaner in the NHS or a top surgeon, just get them in. And if you don't fit into the categories and you're thinking of decorating, just get them in to give you the price without any obligation. That's got painting services, the sponsors of every pod that I do. Every single pod. And Phil says, Frank, I thank Burnham for his contribution. Oh, that's good, because he did do it. As I said, Phil, I was at the memorial, because I always went to the memorial up at Anfield. And that fella just shouted out, justice for the 96. We want justice. And, give him his due, Burnham. We went down, told them. And he said, and then Stephen Starmer sang, okay, have an investigation, and we were exonerated, as you know. But he's still not going to do anything about, the politics today. He's not going to change anything. And Phil to Mr. B, didn't hear that. Can't say that. Yeah, straight up, Phil. About the Scousers. We hate Scousers. That's shocking. We hate Scousers. Fucking hell. Cedric. Big up, legend. And in brackets, they will rebuild you better than ever. Don't worry. Hello, chat. That's my operation. Thank you, Cedric. I was thinking of you, Cedric. I was looking at something. And I've always liked, and I knew about it anyway, but this little thing come up about it on YouTube. And it was Hedy Lamarr, Austrian. Beautiful lady. And what she gave the world that you use today. And what war people use. Like guided missiles. Communication. Like the Bluetooth and all this. And yet she died penniless. Died penniless. A beautiful, beautiful lady. And Lindsay says, when you go for your op, Frank, we will all be rooting for you for a swift recovery. They told me, they're going through my voice box, so they said, it was weird the way he said it, the surgeon. He said, I would just push that over to one side. He said, when when it's all over, he says, you won't be able to speak for 6 weeks. I said, okay then. So you lot will be made up. Won't have to endure me. But it is worrying, to be honest. But thanks for that, Lindsay. Thank you. And Filter there, Mr. Probably people from small towns down south. Yes. We hate the Scousers, yes. And Mr. B, I like Manchester, Bury, Preston, Preston, Hull, Burnley, Blackpool, Yorkshire, etc. They're all in St. Helens. Says the Lockstock. They're all in St. Helens. That's what one of the people, he called me a clown and told me to fuck off. He calls himself a Scouser. And someone on the chat found out where he lived or where he's from, and he's from St. Helens. Can't make these things up, can you? St. Helens. St. Delans. Gotta have a swig of me water. Sorry, folks. Salute. I said, you buy one, you get one free. What's that look like? What's that, mate? And Steve Malala, my old mate, says, I didn't know until tonight that Taylor Swift produced her own video and said, I didn't know until you just said. He's laughing your head. He's laughing his head. Ah, lovely Josephine. Hiya, Joe. Oh, Joe. Never guess where that lady lives. And she keeps inviting me over. So I can't go on longer. I can't go on longer. Lovely Joe Whittaker. She lives in LA. LA, that girl lives. Scouser. But she's got a little American accent. She's been there years. But she's a Scouser. Do you know what she used to do, by the way? She's a business lady over there, successful. And it must have given her the impetus to become a business lady, because what Joe used to do, she used to go up when Liverpool were playing at Anfield. And she used to go around and say, can I mind your car? Little girl. Can I mind your car? The fellas must have felt sorry. Yeah, okay, girl. And then, come out, give her money, whatever they gave her, That was Joe. Always did it. Go for you, Joe. Love you. You know that. Dr. Frank, very interesting. Thank you. No, you're the interesting one. You're the interesting one, Joe. And the poets were us. It was, Gordon Brown. It was, it was, because he took over, didn't he? To be honest, I know you might believe me, but I was going to mention it wasn't Blair, it was Brown, yeah. It was Gordon Brown who signs off on the Hillsborough investigation on his way out the door. To be fair to Theresa May, she took it on from there. It was Burnham who went to Brown, though. Yeah, it was. He said, you've got to do something. We've got to do something for these people. But anyway, it was all done. Thanks for that, poet. But it was already signed, to be honest, about, Theresa May went. Okay, that's she. Maybe that's why they didn't like Theresa May then. Because she couldn't have stopped it, really. I'm being honest, because it was already signed by Starmer. She couldn't have stopped it. But you're right, nevertheless, poet. Oh, Mr. B, treble cock, steady, Frank the pigeons. But that was true. True. And the lock start, 66, great for it. It was because Liverpool won it the season before, then Everton won it. And I've always said this, Lockstock, genuine this, the people on here that tell you. When we were both, in the 80s, when Thatcher wanted to manage the decline of our city, and it was Jeffrey Howe really who wanted to manage decline. He wanted to see how it go to manage, but he didn't. He forgot about the resilience of Liverpool people, the people of Liverpool, and also um, with the resilience, you've got to bring in. We could have easily have become apathetic, and I've said this right through. I said only because of football and looking forward to each weekend to see our teams play, because Everton were a great side, Liverpool were a great side, and we were looking forward to our games of a weekend, every weekend, and that stopped the apathy. It really did. It stopped the apathy, and I've always said that about Liverpool and Everton. Scousers stick together. They sure do, Mr. B. They really do, mate. And to be honest, I want England football. That's okay with me, honestly. It's your country. It's your country. But I don't support. I've never have done. Never have done. But it's only because of my family ties with Italy. My granddad and uncles supporting Italy. Oh, thanks, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Lynn was just saying, make sure that you have a fan. On. Because I'm hard of breathing anyway. Thanks, Lynn. Thank you. And Lockstock says, it's not the players' fault. I want all them lads to win a World Cup. Yeah. But you see, you'll get fans, Liverpool fans especially. I don't know about Everton, I'm being honest here. When you're at a game, we get called terrible things, like bin dippers and all this. That means every Scouser, by the way, and that means you as well, Lockstock. All Scousers. Even if you said, if they heard you in a pub saying, it's the fucking bin dippers. There they are, And are you a Scouser? Yeah, I am. Proud to be a Scouser. But I'm an Everton fan. They wouldn't give a fuck about that. You're a Scouser. Genuine. So I don't know whether, they sing to you or whether it's just Liverpool fans. About being bin dippers and in your Liverpool slums. But, you can get into arguments with that. I don't know. As I said, I'm glad I don't support them, I'm being honest. Really. The Porazori are not there, so I'm not bothered. Not bothered. I watched the highlights of some. No, I didn't. I watched the first half of the Netherlands and Sweden match. Sweden. I thought at the beginning there was a typical American, isn't it? That's a girl screaming and shouting, Yankee, Yankee girl. I don't know what they do. And I say, why is that? Why is she doing all this? Or why is the Americans allowing it? would have got on my fucking nerves, that, if I'd have been sitting in that crowd. Most probably, she did get on people's nerves. I don't know whether if anyone heard it, but that's the only time I've looked at a game. I never watched it all, I only watched the first half. And Mr. B. I know a few Blues who follow Wales instead of England, says Mr. B. Yeah. There you go. And Phil says to the Lockstock, the TV commentators are a joke talking about the great job Tuchel is doing. If we get beat, they'll call him a turnip. Yes, it happens all the time. And what gets me is the biggest thing ever. And it's coming home. It's coming home. It's go. Come on. Hey, come on. And the Lockstock. Plus, I've had a score. Oh God! And if you win, we've had a score on them. And Mr. B. Can you imagine a German leading the mighty chair throwing hooligans to the World Cup glory? Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine a German leading them? That's too cool. The mighty chair throwing hooligans to the World Cup glory, And as Phil says, oh, the irony. Hooligans. I wonder where that stems from. Yeah, I wonder. And Janet, happy hot weather, guys. We've had black clouds over Prescott, not rain clouds, smoke clouds from Widnes Recycling Depot. Went up in smoke earlier on. Phil. Mr. B. County Road, Lockstock, impressive. Yeah, they've gone, haven't they? And Janet, Lockstock to the Janet, walked around the shop an hour ago, seen that, definitely witness. So it's either Prescott or Widnes where this thing's gone up. Going right down, people. Burnham, I'm sorry, he'll be another curse, says Mr. Of course. Soft as, yes. The con man. And Barry says, hiya, Barry. Even if Frank and everyone, hope you're all right, Frank. When are you under the knife, if you don't mind me asking? And I don't know a precise date. I most probably be told that a week today when I go for my pre-op. It's in August, definitely. The operation's in August. If I come out of it, I'll see you all again. If I don't, well, it's, don't be worrying, it'll be bye-bye. Not from me, it'll be my daughter who's saying, me dad. So, I'm already fucked anyway, so I might as well have the oppo. No, I don't mind you asking. Barry, are you doing a Liverpool history show anytime soon? I'm supposed to do it tonight. Barry. And Lockstock says, even about, is that your firm? Well, that's brilliant. Mr. B says he sees himself as a British first, a Northwesterner second, Liverpoolian third, and English fourth. In other words, he's not going to do anything. He won't do nothing for us, Liverpool. You know, saying that he's a scouser. He won't do anything for the country. Do you know what he might do? Which I hope he does, by the way. Do something for pensioners. I don't know whether you realise, but in the whole of Europe, even when we were in that bad EU, when we were in there, and it applies today as well, that the British pensioner is the lowest paid throughout the whole of Europe. I remember Greece nearly went bankrupt. Greece, a few years ago. I forget. I think I was watching ITV or BBC. That's before all the propaganda. I haven't watched it for years. But anyway, they were talking to they were talking to pensioners. They were talking to pensioners. And they were talking to ordinary people, then they were talking to pensioners. And the ordinary people were saying, we're going to struggle now. Because the EU put penalties on them, on Greece. They put penalties on them. And they went to the pensioners and they said, will you be struggling? And they said, no, thank God, our pensions are not going to be touched. We're one of the richest countries on the planet. This is why pensioners have a raw deal. They have a raw deal with everything. Look at me. I'm a pensioner. And that's going to cost £2,000. There's a girl named Deb, and she said, hey, I'll get onto this. Well, you've got to phone up at a certain time in the morning to get hold of this dentist, to go on the list. I'll keep doing it every day, like. Whether I get on it, I don't know. But I won't be able to get it done. I have to wait until after the op. He told me that. And Linda says, I was at the memorial, to be honest. Burnham looked petrified, but he kept his... Yeah, he did. He did. And Steve says, Burnham will be like Keir 2.0. Yes, he will. He will. No getting away from that. David owns me, help me. Hiya, David. I wish you come down and see me, David. Please. Come down. This fella's an archivist, honestly. Unbelievable. Best research I've ever known in my life. Unbelievable. And he says, Old Rome was never a Liverpool district. Originally part of West Lancs. After 1974, it became part of Sefton and still is. Old Rome. And believe that if it's off it. Great statement. I wish he comes down and see me, mate. Enigma. Yeah, great mate, that, isn't he? Big up, Barry. Big up. Phil says, Frank, The senior civil servants run the country and they never leave. Lifers, yet they are in the job, yeah. Great pensions. And Lindsay says, David's own Liverpool was also Lancs at one time. Yeah, even in Lancashire. And would you agree? When we talk about our favourite Liverpool players, I consider the character of the player as important as their skill. Yeah. Including the manager. Good shout that, Carlyle. Good shout. Oh, Lockstock. Mate, it's about the... Oh, thank you. See, when I lose track, is it talking about different things you say and I lose track? Thank you. Thank you. Lockstock. And Mr. B. Working class keep this we kept it going since we were slaves. You know, ever since the Romans came over, we've always done it. We've always been slave to the master and the squires. You know, as you go up through the centuries or the millennium, that is millenniums. We're in a new millennium. We're in a third millennium now. And if you go back to the last millennium and the millennium before then, you can say that again. Say I've lost you again. Lancashire Police covered the Old Roan district, not the Liverpool police. Okay. Fancy getting nicked by the Lancashire Police. You go, hang on, I'm a Scouser. You're out of your jurisdiction, mate. Agree, Carl? Thanks, Dave. Poetry, Mr. B. Burnham should have said he's a Scouser first, a Scouser second, a Scouser third, etc., etc. And he wouldn't have lasted 2 minutes. He wouldn't have lasted 2 minutes. He's a fucking bin tipper. That's what he would have been getting called. And Jared says, good job you're not impressed with our Black Clouds flank. But throughout the country, you don't have to have a fire to have fucking Black Clouds here, Janet, as you know. Yeah. Because it just rains with black clouds. I remember one July, I was having a barbecue. I'm going back years ago. I said to my friends, I said, I'm having a barbecue, but it'll be on a Saturday night. So, you know, you don't have to go to work the next day. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, oh, brilliant. That July, it rained every weekend. And I don't like rain. Although it replenishes the earth, still don't like it. Anyway, it was black clouds that just covered rain every single weekend of that July. And I never had it. Never had the barbecue. What happened to the barbecue? Oh, sorry. Frankie and Broody, yeah, the lightning series was commissioned by the FA to write a catch shot three lions. Hard to believe it was 30 years ago. So now it's 60 years of it. I always remember, and I've said this before, when I was watching the telly, the 66 World Cup, all around a black and white telly. And you see the crowd, and it was the first banner I ever seen. You know, they had the little Union Jacks, you know. And in the crowd, there was a banner. And it said, next to Liverpool, England are the greatest. That's always resonated with me, that one banner. Proper banner. Wasn't a big thing, but it was big enough so you could read it. Well, big enough. Not like a little Union Jack waving the Union Jack. That's the Scottish and the Irish and the Welsh if they like the Union Jack. Oh, Frank, we gave as good as we got. We always do, mate. Always do. Yeah. Remember, no disrespect to our blue friends on here. I had a troll on. And the blue used to come on, lock stock. And, you know, everyone was polite to the lads. But anyway, this other lad came on. Trolley was. He was a blue. Because he had EFC, you know, the badge in his title. And he just one word it was. And it was murderers. And I said to the lads who was the blue, not the fella who said murderers, he fucking went in. He was blocked, bang, gone. And I said to the lads, I said, you know, why, you're a blue, why did he say that? And he's never been on since. He's just never answered. He just fucked up. And I've always wondered why. It is. It is, Mr. B. Is anyone going to the Royal Court? Take me home, County Road? No. I used to always go down to the Royal Court because the friends of mine, you know, the actors, and all the actors, both male and female, and also the writers. Just got a message from, you know, Zenis Paparak from Tampa in Florida. He said, just got a doppelganger of you. But he sent me one the other day as well, and I can't proper see it. It's out of focus. He sent me one the other day as well. This fella, look. These are all Americans. I got a bigger picture and dollar that. You must have said, God, blimey, you look at everything. Bet he's got all his teeth, though, hasn't he, Dennis? Janet says, beats out reform. The thing is, reform, or, it's just imagine if they called a general election instead of having a fucking fight with the Labour Party leadership, that Farage would get in. And people have got, oh, he's going to change. Oh, look what he'll do for us. He won't do fuck all. Because he's great friends. It'll be much harder. He's great friends with Trump, the warmongering president of the United States. And if you don't think he's a warmonger, then I don't know what to say. I don't want to say anything like. He's the most warmongering president ever. And he's a bit of a fucking nutter, to be honest. You're not going to win. You sound, Frank. Tough as an Italian shoes. Do you know what? I was looking at my shoes today, and they are Italian. There are about 8 pairs of them, and I can't wear them. Fall over. Unless this top goes okay. God blimey. Barry's saying there, Lockstock, question marks. And Lockstock's about, I thought you were a painter. Working for Gap. Frank, a wee chat about the Windrush generation coming through Liverpool will make a good listen. The Windrush, I remember I got a phone call, and it was off my mate. He's a playwright, Dave Kirby. He said, Frank, can you get down to it? And this was in the evening, and they were in a pub. And he said, can you come down? I said, what for? He said, just come down, please. So I said, okay. So anyway, he got ready, went down. And Stephen Graham it was. He was sitting there because they just stopped filming something. Dave said to Stephen, this is Frank. He says, yeah, I know Frank. You know, like, not know me, but heard of me. He said, yeah, I know Frank. He said, Frank, thanks for coming down. I said, do you want to know something? He said, yeah, about the Windrush. Now, people think that the Windrush, they get it mixed up, you know, because they think that, you know, the West Indies and the abbreviated West Indies with wind, you know, rush, you know, coming over from the West Indies. The Windrush, all the Afro-Caribbeans coming over. Anyway, it wasn't like that because it was a ship called the Windrush. And it was quite surprising because when they got here, you know, fine. We don't mind. Look, we're all in Liverpool, really in most cities. But Liverpool was based on immigrants. That's how it grew. Every immigrant. We had 80% at one time of Irish. They had Irish blood in them, Scousers. Then you had, you know, the likes of me. You had the Italian blood. And a lot of others. People think that you had Chinese here in 1824. They built a community. they were on the way to America, found it. He said, I might as well stay here. Like my family when they were going over to America. And there was a waiting list for ships. So they decided to stay. And they got jobs. So they went, I might as well stay here rather than going over there. Because half of the family, my family, on my mother's side, went over to New York. Lots of them stayed. Some went to Chicago. Some went down to San Diego. These are the families. You had French here. French. What is not surprising, really. I think you'll understand. During the Napoleonic Wars, when it was all over, 1815, we had a lot of French prisoners from the Napoleonic Wars. And there was no repatriation back home then. You make your own way, you know what I mean? We're not giving them money to get over back to France. So loads of them stayed. So we had a French community as well. We had an Armenian community. So you're having all these communities, Italian. We had a little Italy. We had a little Italy community. And because of sectarianism, it was pulled down. Sectarianism. I've still got minutes. I don't know where they are. Never find them, I don't think. Of a meeting. And it said, we've got to get shut of this. Yep. Get shut. So this is what you have. You had the Irish and the Italians living next door to one another in a place called Scotland Road. You had a huge Scottish community as well. They came down to Liverpool. See, look, when they never... The majority of them never said, I think I'll go to Liverpool to try and find some work and live there. I think it's great. They never said that. They were on the way to America. And they was waiting. There was long lists. Put your names down. Yeah, well, you'd have to wait for the ship. Just like my family. They were actually waiting. Half of them went over. Then my family, on my mother's side, they had to stay. They had to stay until a ship came along. And the only thing that came along at the time was the Second World War. And there you have it, so it's people that were getting stuck here in Liverpool, so they decided just to stay. Think about it, Armenian, Japanese. And you might think, well, how did Japanese get here? Simple. A fellow named Daniel Brocklebank. He came over in 1774. He went to Canada first, and he tried to open a shipping line to catch whales. But the Canadians said, no, we've got enough here. So he came over to Liverpool. And he opens a shipping line to catch whales. So Japanese came over to see what the northern people did, the northern hemisphere, catching whales. So they came to Liverpool because of Brocklebank. And they were finding out, so they made a community which is now known as, I don't know whether it's still there, I don't know whether everything's gone, around Pembroke Place, called Guild Street. So that was their community there. So the Japanese stayed there just looking at how the Northern Hemisphere, and even if they had different Wales as well. So we had a Japanese community. It's 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 mad. We had a Welsh community, massive Welsh community. I'll tell you how we got that. When they started building houses, excuse me, when we started, I went through my break, didn't I? When we started building houses, we used Welsh slate. So people that were coming over said, oh, it's all right here, isn't it? With the slate. Believe it or not. So we had a massive Welsh community. So much so that they couldn't speak English. They spoke Welsh. They had a few. See, we've got Welsh streets that they actually built. And they're well known. So they decided to stay here. And they made their own little community. And they had their own money. You're talking the 1840s. Their own little shops. Their own money. And I'm talking about Welsh money, by the way. So it's strange the way it was at the time. Very strange. You know, with these different communities. And how they got on. And how they got on. You had the likes of some Mormons coming over. Getting to Liverpool to get to America. And one of the most famous Mormon stayed here as a child. Waited 6 months, waiting for the passage to get over with his family. And who was that? I always forget his name. This fella's name, proper name. But you do know this fellow. Very infamous he was. In America. And his name was Butch Cassidy. You know, from the Sundance fame. He stayed here. With his Mormon family. And he finally got his passing, they all went. It's things like that. But the Windrush was bringing over because there was lots of menial work, and it was right after the war in the 50s. And no one was doing the work. We were building up the country after it being bombed and whatever. So we sent for these people, the migrants from the Caribbean, on a ship called the Windrush. That's what it was called. Backwards and forwards. Backwards and forwards. To take up the menial jobs. And Janet says, Prescott used to be. Is that Bell? B? I don't know. I don't know what you mean. Janice. I've told these players time and time, yes. Time and time again that they are privileged to play for you. And if they didn't believe it then, they believe it now. Bill Shankly. I was in that crowd around St. George's Hallway. But it was on the steps of the library William Brown Street, right next door to the Walker Gallery. I was there, along with thousands of others. Can't get any better than them. Oh, lovely Toscana. Buonasera, Franco and Co. Hope all is okay. Yes. Phil, Mr. B, Shankly quote. Yes. And Jenna said, Prescott used to be Lancashire. I sometimes receive letters addressed Prescott, Lancashire. Really? Lockstock. You make me happy when skies are grey. Yes. Talking about me, that's what we hear happy. And Mr. B, Johnny and a budgie. Johnny had a budgie he had. It flew in the morning, flew in the night. When it came home, it was covered. Wigan Athletic song, mate, says Barry. Welcome to Wigan. Do you ever remember that? The rugby fella. Wigan. BBC. He has a great accent. Great commentator as well. Wigan. And Phil Frank, apparently, West Derby Village was recognised before Liverpool, and the men of Liverpool had to try. They tried. Yet they did. Yeah. The court's still there. Tiny little place. Because what you had before the Liverpool castle was the Norman castle. And the outline is still there. You've even got a street named Castle View where it was. So you take an aerial view of it, see the outline. I used to have a picture of it, the Norman castle, but when we built our castle, that came into the fold, because it was only wooden, you see, a wooden castle. And Phil's laughing there, Mr. B. And our busy. Ooh, that's a funny Scouse words, isn't it? Busy. Oh, it's the busies. Our busy is AK stream like number 08, Frank. Don't know. I really don't. Busy. I really don't, mate. I don't know. I haven't a clue. As the Lockstock says, nothing to do with us. I don't know. What is and what isn't? Oh, he's talking to Mr. B. Mr. B, just enjoy the chat and mind your neck in. God bless. Oh, come on, lads. Don't start this. And Lockstock says, Barry, I beg to differ. Says the Lockstock to Barry. Look, you're arguing with two people here. Our busy says, I'm 53, Frank, and I can still remember Frank Whiteside's goal in the FA Cup final and Ronnie Whelan against Manchester. Yeah. Do you mean the curler? Do you mean the curler? Great goal, that. Wembley. Was that the Charity Shield game? Or the League Cup game? Wasn't the FA Cup. Wasn't that because we got beat by Man United 2-1 in the FA Cup. The weekend before we went over to Rome for 77 for our European Cup final. But I remember that. Ronnie Whelan goal. Great. American versions of Frank, says Edward. Yeah. What proper accent? Joe, I've never heard you swear in my life. That's sharp. I'm shocked. Shocked to the core. God blimey. Freaking hell. Fancy doing business with her? Fuck off. With an American swang. Scouser. And Janet said, hey, Lockstock, skies are clearing over Prescott. Can't be bad, can it? And Edward says, would you get Jamie, the paranormal fella, on? Or the paranormal woman you had on years ago? Yeah, I can get Jamie on, but I can get Jamie on, Edward. But that woman, no. Got enough of abnormal women. I know what you said, paranormal. No. I'm afraid not. I don't know. You've got to, I'll have to ask Jason. Edward. So, you mean Frank Sidebottom? Isn't Frank Sidebottom that mad thing? It is, isn't it? Frank Sidebottom. Or the alien fella you had on at the top. He's a bit of a... Every time he said, come on. You're talking about Jason Gleaves. Nice fella. Don't get me wrong. Tell you what I'll do here. I'll get Jamie on in the next few weeks. And I'll try and get a ufologist on. All right. As I say, I have Irish blood in me and an Irish second name. How lovely. And the Lockstock says to Janet, I can't see unless I go out. Good, it stopped. Good, it stopped. Yes, Lockstock. Britain is German and Scandinavian from the Romans. Yeah, that's what I mean. You had the French. They stayed. The Romans, yeah, of course they stayed. And the Vikings and the Saxons, everybody else. But a big mixture. One big melting pot. One big crucible. Yeah. But it started to grow and grow and grow in the 19th century. More and more people coming in. Let's try and show you something. Just bear with me on that. I'm looking for something, you see. Just bear with me. I'm looking for something, you see. I'm looking at a big map. This is like around the, dare say, I'll show a couple of things here. Just bear with me, please. Show you two things, which is very interesting. Got it. Gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna put in a map. If I can. There it is. I'm gonna show you something. Right, I'm gonna show you something. And what you see there, hang on, where am I? Sorry. What you see there and what you see there, those buildings, is this. This particular building here was the very first building to have an iron infrastructure, because every building, and I'm talking palaces, I'm talking about everything, always has wooden structures, infrastructure, to build within. And that particular building at the top there has an iron infrastructure. And it opens up in 1814. And it's called St. George's Church on the hill. Incredible. Absolutely amazing. Let's see if we can bring it down a little, because that thing's in the way. There it is there, see? Let's see if we can get it closer. There it is there, see? St. George's Church in Everton. The very first building to use an iron infrastructure. On this beautiful thing here, that was built by Thomas Duncan. And Thomas Duncan was a great water engineer. And that's still there today. Even the church is still there. St. George's in Everton. And this wonderful thing that flushed the water, well, it sent it over. The reservoir, believe it or not, in Hyde Park Street, was a reservoir. Still, the building's still there, so they got all the water in there. When they flushed it through, this helped the machinery. This building here. Incredible, isn't it? It's incredible. still there today. Because what you had cerebral dysentery, typhoid, cholera, everything going on, and you're talking the 1880s, 30s, going into the 40s. People were just dying. Then we got the first medical officer of health in the entire world, the very first one, to look after the city's medical problems and diseases. And he was Dr. Duncan. So he said, okay. He went for a fella named James Newland, who was a city engineer. And he said about the sewers, because all sewers around the country were rectangle. They were square. So Newlands went and got the bricklayers and said, I want you to, and they built around. And they built like that around-ish, but on a slant. So any deposits here was washed away by the water that was sent from Hyde Park Street to here to flush it out. Incredible piece of engineering. Really. And this particular thing here is for Lockstock, because that is the Everton badge. The Tower of Everton. And what it was named, it was a lock-up. And it was a lock-up for drunks of Everton. But it was also used, believe it or not, for condemned men who were on the way up to London Road, top of London Road, to be executed, hanged. And one fella named Smythe, Jack Smythe, he was up for murder, murdering a sailor, a prostitute, and a tattooist in Dale Street. He was tried at Dale Street Assizes, and he was sentenced, obviously, to death because of murder. And they put him in there one night. Now, that was a sheep pen. The lockup was a sheep pen. But anyway, the door opened. The door opened while he was sitting in there waiting for the next morning to be hanged. So he escaped. He got off. And he got down to the docks and he just jumped in his ship. And one went to America. He got there to America. And when he was trying to get off the ship, albeit there was hardly no well, there wasn't any communication whatsoever, to be honest. But anyway, he jumped ship because he didn't want to, just in case someone recognised him or knew what he did or whatever. So he stayed, and he teams up with here's the irony, he teams up with a band of men. And that band of men, he was starving, yeah, do you want to come with us? Yeah, okay, because he was getting fed. But they needed their bodies for what they were going to do. And when he got there, what it was, I think it was Jim Bowie's gang he joined, or Davy Crockett, and he ended up at the Alamo. Jack Smythe, where he ended up dead. Jack Smythe. Mad story, but true. Mad story. Jack Smythe, that's the irony. he was going to be hanged, and yeah, he died at the hands of bullets from the Mexicans. And they were trying to retake Mexico back. How about that? Lock, stock, don't follow care. Don't follow care to elaborate, says Mr. B. And looks at, I'm in Hollywood. I'm in Hollywood. Hollywood's a Holyrood. And Jane says, my mum had an eye problem. She was of Viking descent. Really? Now, let's show you. Oh, come on, boys and girls. I don't want to go down that road. And Edward says, look, you had to mention that. 1824, first Chinese community in Europe, and the biggest. The biggest. Edward. And you wouldn't believe how they got here. They walked from China. It's like the Italians, Sargent, the walk, the Great Walk, Grande Passage. And they walked and walked and walked from Italy to the likes of Dover, to cross over the Channel, to get to Liverpool, to get to America. The Great Walk. Passage Grande. Loads of chippies. And Jana, my grandmother was refused passage to emigrate to the Americas because my auntie Bess's eyesight wasn't good enough. Auntie Bess worked at Whiston Hospital in the maternity unit. Oh God. And Lockstock, says Barry, beg all you want, mate, but they've sung that song since the 70s. Oh, come on, fuck's sake, stop this. Fucking hell, come on, boys. Stop it. See, you get... It's like when someone comes in, I don't know whether it's a wind up or what, but you're respectful to them. And the next, to fucking cause a murder. Lockstock, these are good people, mate. My Auntie Bess was a maternity nurse at Whiston. No kids. Looked after my grandmother all her life. Married a caretaker from Scottish descent, and they used to attend Caledonian Society events. Tossing the caber and all that. I bet she went over to Boston and had a good old time having a good bevy on St. Paddy's Day, because those Bostonians know how to celebrate. Please step away from pipe lock stock, Frank. Let's have tense silence for my weak cupcake. Yes. Right. Eddie Waring, that's him. That's him, Barry. How doing, gang? Great commentator, though. And there was I loved, never liked the rugby union, the rugby league. I always followed the rugby, what was it? Fucking hell. But anyway, it wasn't league. It was like England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and France. That's what I followed. I loved that. And you had a Scottish fella. What was his name? He was a great commentator. Peter West was a commentator as well. He was good. That's what I used to. Well, that's all we could fucking follow, wasn't it? They were live. Hardly any football was live, so I used to follow the old rugby union. The Welsh were good at that. Barry John. Looks like Barry. He was a sweaty. Do you mean a sweetie or a sweaty? And Janet says, Prescott is older than Liverpool. So was a lot of other places. But only over 800 years old. Smash those like, says Mr. B. Thank you, Mr. B. And Gianna, on the hill, priest's cottage. Bell practice at Phil says Gianna. It is older than the villages like West Derby or Woolton. That's a good shout. This is older than Toxteth. Because Toxteth was a royal park. Walton had the oldest church. And it's the site's still there. 960. St. Mary's in Walton. And it would have still been there today, only for the May Blitz got blown up. Because I used to teach, it was the very first grammar school in the Northwest. And that was facing the church. That wasn't it. And the building's still there. From 15. No one knows when it was. But that's where John Leland, who wrote the very first thing, stayed. He stayed in this grammar school. And he wrote the very first thing about Liverpool. In 1537. As I mentioned before. So you see, there are loads of things that'll be older than Prescott. You even had the Romans staying here. I'll tell you where they stayed, actually. I'll have to go back to my map. Can I go back to my map? Yeah. They stayed around here from, let's go along, I want to get St. George's Church. Yeah. They stayed around here. That's where they stayed, right around there. The Romans. Because that site there from St. George's Church looked down into Liverpool, because it's on a hill. No houses down there or anything, no buildings whatsoever. And they built a tower. And that tower became synonymous with Liverpool because it was used as a semaphore over to the Romans that was in Diva, which is Chester, because they were circumnavigating the UK. A fellow by the name of Ptolemy was circumnavigating for the Romans. So they used it as a semaphore tower. The tower. Right around there they stayed. But also who stayed there, because if you look from there, if you could imagine all along there, right down here, right down, was woods, forest, big wood. A big wood. I'm trying to find something. I always miss it here. Always miss it. Let's see if we get it. Yeah, there I am. There I am. So, here. Let me just go up again, people. I'm sorry about this. Just get me bearings. See the church here, St. George's. All this was a woods. All this. Big woods. You're talking 1642. You had a few little shacks in that, out and about. Because around here, what you had the dock system, which wasn't prevalent then. But what you did have, you had little things going on. Now, around this area here, you'd have the Liver building. So I'm giving you some idea where you're at. This is the pier head. So you'd have a Liver building today. And why I showed that on the wood, because in 1642, it was the English Civil War. And Prince Rupert came and he got to Runcorn and they said, we must take Liverpool. It's got a garrison there. And that was the castle. That was the castle. I wonder if we can, well, the castle won't be there, like it's gone. It's pulled down and let's see. I'm just trying to get. I can't get. It's only. Sorry about this. Oh, for fuck's sake. It's terrible trying to. I don't want to waste time, you see. I'm sorry. I won't be able to get it. I won't be able to get it. I'm sorry. Sod it. See, this here, I'm trying to get me bearings, you see. There's the six-sided clock. There's the six-sided clock. That, today, is the Titanic Hotel. And they're actually doing this up now as we speak. This one. And they're all still there, still there. There's the bridge, the first mechanical bridge in the world, believe it or not. There. That's still there today. This is the Stanley Dock. And the Stanley Dock, believe it or not, was known as the pawn shop dock. Because if you couldn't pay your taxes, they used to open the bridge and put you in there. They used to open this mechanical bridge and put you in there until you paid your taxes, then they let you out to go about your business. Hence, the pawn shop dock. How about that? Well, I try to give you some history, you know. I know there's been loads going on. And Edward says, that would be good, Frank, to get them both on. Nice one. Crying to me better. Jason will. He gets everyone on for me. And lock, stock to Janet. Put your headphones on. Let's take a walk to this. Oh. And Phil says to Janet, just ask AI West Derby. Why is West Derby? West Derby is the oldest village. Obviously, it wasn't Liverpool. No. Wow, knowledge. And Lockstock. It's the cathedral, is it not? Which is? But I've just showed you. No cathedrals there, mate. The cathedrals weren't built until our cathedrals started in the 20th century. Got a great map as well, where you're actually. I've got my map there. Strangely enough, and I could show you the site of the Anglican Cathedral, which was the first to go up. And it was only completed, but stonemasons still work on it, believe it or not, in 1976. How about that? And the Catholic Cathedral was completed in 1967. How about that? And Frank, different class, says Mr. B. Mount Carmel. That's Southend, yeah. Southend, that. Mount Carmel, yeah. There's that's where the reservoir is. That's where the reservoir is. The building's still there, been in it loads of times. Weird. All brick. Fantastic. And Jana says, you make me chuckle, Lockstock. Thumbs up here. That's lovely. I used to love visiting Dr. Duncan's pub. Did you know? Did you know? Prince Rhubarb, yeah. Everton must be playing. Everton, Mr. B. Everton must be playing. 5 fans walking along the path. Seen that. Frank, grab a break, lads. That was I'm finishing now. I didn't really see how far behind I am. And lovely Natasha. Chinatown in Liverpool. Yes, we had a Chinatown, we had a Little Italy, we had everything. The Beatles are from Liverpool. Yes. Stay attento, Franco. Yeah. Yes, I'm telling you, Mr. B. Liverpool has a great Latin American community and they do a lot for the city. Say Steve Mulholland, yeah. And there's Trump going into Venezuela because he's trying to take it over. Well, you know why he's going in. That's for a Friday night, though. That's for a woman by the name of Mercado. Mercado. It's not Mercado, is it? She won the Nobel Peace Prize, which was a big scam anyway. She was a warmonger, eh? She wanted all the Venezuelans to be killed. When she begged Trump for her to go and bomb, but for him to go and bomb Venezuela. But you know who it's for, don't you? Venezuela. If you don't know now, you'll never know. It's for the tiny hats, because she's a tiny hat, you see. So is that Mary of Argentina, tiny hat. And they want to take over Latin America. People won't have it. Why did he lock up fucking Maduro? Why? What right did he have to go into a sovereign country and kidnap a president and his wife? His wife got beaten up, you know. Seen the pictures of it. Animals, I'm afraid. Animals. And if you read in real time, you would know that it's impossible. If you read back, it makes sense. I like to think I'm a good person. We're all good person. Ah, Joe. Loving the start. Thank you, Joe. See my teeth? Eating a Kit Kat. And Jason says, that's where we got it from, Pack. On the woods. You've been watching the matches. You've been watching the footy. I'm sorry I missed most of the show tonight, but I'll watch it back. No, you won't, because you're watching a game. And we've had the best of all guest. I haven't had a proper guest on for years. Well, not years, long time now, couple of months. And American from the marina in LA. She was giving me all the gossip about what's happening in Hollywood, especially with the likes of Mel Gibson and Mark Wahlberg and Gwyneth. Is it, what do they call her now? Gwyneth Paltrow. Mad. The world is crazy. That's who we've had on. Woodmaster. And Woodmaster Frank's being on form tonight, says Mr. B. That is Pack. I haven't seen you for a while. Pack Unchan. Are you Pack? Messi scored another 2 goals today. That's 5 now, and he's 39. I didn't realise he was older than me, to be honest, Pack. And the Woodmaster said, Frank is actually now officially an influencer. I've bought books from his recommendations. He's an influencer. I only think, isn't he just girls who are influencers? Mind that, like. Shall I get an influencer on? One of these, like, like the nails and the eyes and the hair, and could do my hair. It's going to stay to me, eh? Natasha says, do you remember Queen's Drive? Yeah, of course I do. Yes, I remember Queen's Drive. At one time, and I never lived far from there, Natasha. And Natasha says, it's too hot in this heat wave. Yes. Yes, Natasha. It is. And look, the world isn't crazy. It's the people in it. Yes. And Natasha says, you are 21, Frank. I wish. Didn't realise the time. So I won't be doing a pod tomorrow, people. Unfortunately. Now, what I want to ask you before I go. Messi is the GOAT, says Mr. B. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, though, 1 week. And I think you should know about this fella. You know about him. I heard about him. His name is always splashed out anyway. But I think you've got to know from 1789 onwards. And what happens in 1789? Well, it was the French Revolution. So you've got to know about a fellow by the name of Robespierre and his sidekick, Danton. Then who comes into the fore is Napoleon. You've got to know about him. And I'll do that 1 week. Definitely before I go into Aussie. I want to do a couple of people, actually. But I'll do him. Definitely do him. Remarkable man, was Little Eels. Remarkable man. So, do him. And who would you like me to do? Like Napoleon. Mr. B, Messi is the GOAT. Of course he is. Of course he's a GOAT. That's why I watch. I'm telling you, I was watching it today. The Liverpool-Barca game. But the away game at Nou Camp We were the better side, you know. Watching it live, we were the better side. That scoreline of 3-0 flattered them. I'm not just saying that. It really did. And I thought, we'll beat them at Anfield. But I really thought we wouldn't go through. I thought they were an apt to score, especially Little Eels. Messi. Because he's a goat. He is the goat. And Natasha says, Queen's Drive is where my dad lived. Beautiful place there. Beautiful Queen's Drive. Great road. Not seen your sidekick, haven't he, for a while? Pack, I don't know where he is. He hasn't been in touch or anything. He hasn't been in touch with Jason. He hasn't been in touch with me. We never fell out at anything. Just haven't been in touch. He has to get hold of me. I've been saying it for ages. Maybe he has fell out with it. I don't know. Fell out with you. I just don't know. Good to see you, Pack, anyway, mate. Really is. And Phil says, yes, Mr. B, yes, some records he has, and that's about Messi, isn't it? Incredible. And the Lockstock says, everyone be thankful. We are thankful. I know I am. Thankful to be here. I've died once, like Lazarus. Unbelievable, Phil. Messi, yes. Natasha. It's the longest road in Liverpool. Which area? It goes right through. It goes right through. Queen's Drive. More or less through the city. Well, the outskirts, not in the city centre, but the outskirts of the city, where people live. And it just goes through certain districts. I'm not going to name them, to be honest. And it starts off really in Walton, where I've been talking about, right through to the south end of the city. Just imagine all the people living life in peace. Yeah, that's what all that I want. Frank, I'm in Liverpool first week of June. Are you? Come and see me. Come and see me. Come and see me, Mr. B. Listen, write to Jason, the description here. Send an email. Put your phone number in. I'll text you if you want me to give you the ring, and I'll ring you and give you my details. Come and see me. All right. Let me know if you're still with us, Mr. B. Just come and see me, mate. It'd be good to see you. And I see Keir Starmer has resigned. Then reckon Andy Burnham will be the next Prime Minister. What do you think? Been speaking about him before. Nothing will change. That's all I can tell you, because we have discussed them on every issue. Natasha. And I'm finishing now, sweetheart. And of course, the hand of God, says Mr. B. Maradona. Brilliant, him. Maradona. If you ever go to Naples, God blimey, they've got murals all over the place there. Love them. Who do you think will win the World Cup, Frank? Natasha, please believe me, I won't watch it simply because the most warmongering country, on the planet has taken part, and it's taken part in their country, and that's America. I will not touch the World Cup, and I don't know who will win it. Sad to say. I tell you who. You might think I'm mad here, but I think I've watched not watched, only. I'll tell you what I've watched. Japan. And I like how Japan are working. Oh, Roberto Baggio back in the day, Baresi, Maldini. Incredible plays. Roberto Di Baggio. Oh, Maldini. Giannis always called me Baresi. Franco Baresi. Always said, I don't know why, like. Maybe I was as good as him, and I was younger. When he had black hair. Black hair. Oh, those were the days, black hair. I like Nestor as well, you know, Mr. B. Oh, Cedric. Oh, but been with us all the time. I'm off, Frank. Been busy, sorry. Didn't contribute. Oh, behave yourself. Take care of yourself. And chat, take care. He's great, him, isn't he? Hey. Two big eggs. Two big eggs. Strange that you asked that, you know, because when you look at the live, I've said this to many people. I said it to Robin Gibb, actually, because Robin Gibb loved history. I was asked to take him at that. Anyway, I did. And I was telling him about the live, and he said he loved the structure of it. He said, this is fantastic. And I mentioned about, Pax here with us, and I mentioned about Shanghai. Is it Shanghai? China, obviously, talking about. Is it? And they've got a building just like the library. And he even pointed that out and said, you're right. Is it Shanghai? Anyway, he was going on about it. And I said to him, it's only what you're saying, Lockstock. I said, if you go up and take an aerial view over the library building, you see the round domes. They're the eggs. And the liver birds have hatched, because when a bird hatches, it spreads its wings. Because the original King John eagle never had its wings out. So Karl Bernhard Bartels, the sculptor at Germany, he's a German sculptor, he had the matching with the wings out. That's for you, that Lockstock, mate. I'm going to finish it, honestly. He's great, that Cedric, you know. So I like his all, honestly. And the poet, French Revolution sound good, Frank. Tom Paine would be Tom Paine, brilliant philosopher. Tom Paine. Interesting fella to hear about. And Robert Morris. You know who Robert Morris was, don't you? I'll tell you what. I'll do Morris first. I'll do him first for you. Don't say nothing on you. Because you know, don't you? You know, and it'll surprise, people who don't know. Most probably other people will know. But other people who won't know who Robert Morris was, mind you, they fucking Google it now, won't they? But I'll do him first before Thomas Paine. How about that, eh, poet? Hashtag 97, yes. R97. Smash the like, says Mr. B. By Cedric, says the T. Cedric. Perfect flight, great. Just send her. Please just send her. And I'll get hold of you. I'll phone you up. Phone you in the islands. I've got to tell you that, please. This happens, honest to God. Right. I was in Corfu, and we met this Kenny lad and his wife Eleanor. Lovely people. And he even brought me to Duck Bay that his uncle owned. And his dad was a diplomat. And he invited us up. Genuine this. For Halloween. So I said, yes, I was with her then. I said, you want to? She said, yeah. This is absolutely true. And he was with a Birmingham couple as well. And they were lovely people, just young, And they had the great accents. Oh, do you like travelling then, Frank? Yeah. But anyway, he went like that. He said to me, this lad who lived in Birmingham and his girl, he said, we'll come and get you, Frank, save you, driving up there and we'll drop you back, and it's all over. Because we're staying for a day or two, you see, the four of us. So, I forget the name of the place. Do you know, like we have Formby here and Ainsdale and things? Well, he lived in a place just outside Glasgow, Kenny, and I've been up there before. So anyway, we're going up, travelling through the night. Well, it wasn't the night, because it goes dark, doesn't it? During the winter months. This is November. Genuine. And he's driving along and he went, you're not going to believe it, but it's true. Yeah, look, also by blessing himself. And he goes like that. He said, I said, no, they were boysing here. I said, what? He said, I didn't know they were boysing. I said, what do you mean, bison? She said, you had the bison everywhere. Chelsea up there, what's the bison? Because we're coming to a bison. Must be a big thing of them. And I went, bison? Do you know what it was? A basin. On this road going down. What's for the basin? He thought it was fucking bison. Roaming around. Just outside Glasgow. Genuine. Look at the bison. That's a great time knowing that. Went to his cousin's, stayed in his house. Fucking hell. There was a helicopter thing for his dad, who was a diplomat. Helicopter pad. Pick his dad up and take him somewhere. And we went to this place. It was like a castle. His cousin owned. I don't know where it was. But anyway, we get there. I should have seen the way they turned us out. It was fucking freezing, though. you know, howling all over the place. You know, a fucking castle. Not many fires lit either. Okay, now. But great, what a day. What an evening. Great memories. Iran, says Mr. B. Say no messing, Judy. Iran. So Wiskoff, Kushner, and JD. Because the other fellow was saying, no, they're not coming in, but they've got everything, Iran. All their things. But that's not going to last, as you know. Because America is a warmongering country for another country that rules it. Filter Natasha, you said your dad lived in the prefabs bungalows. We're in the area around Walton to Club Moor, I think. Yet they were prefabs after the war. Just for the people who were bombed out of their houses. My nephew and niece are half Italian. Are they? Go away. Like me, eh? Two fucking big eggs. Yeah. The live birds, yeah. Do you know what? Sure, fucking something came on my head here. Gotta watch out for these fucking spiders, you know. They come from the ceiling, too. Do you know that? Lock, stock, look, he's laughing his little head off. Two fucking big eggs. Just educating the chap. And Artie, hey, Artie. Artie's a nice man, lovely man. What do you think about the new signing, Munoz? Do you know the way I look at it? Artie, you know me. The way I look at it, Artie, I could do a compilation. I'm just talking about a Liverpool player now, of Gapco. And put a compilation on. Say that, you know, to like, say like he went to, I don't know, fucking anywhere. Right. And the fans of who's bought him will go, fucking hell, great, look at him. Looks like scoring, assists, dribbling, everything. That's the way I look now at players. He's only young, but it's just like, you know, we've got to see what he's really like. This is the Premiership. This is not La Liga. And especially Osasuna, where he's come from, the lad. I'm not knocking him, Artie. I'm not knocking the lads, honestly. I've just got to see what he's like. I've got to see what Iola's like as well. And Mr. B. Antonio and Georgia. Is that the names? Go away. I was saying to our Francine about her uncles, my uncles, their great uncles, what their names were as well. Francesco, Antonio, and Ronaldo. Three great uncles. All gone now. And even her aunties and my mother's name was Angelina Marie Orlando Valenti. That was my mother's name. And her sisters, beautiful Italian name, Maria Gracci Valenti, Rosalina Valenti. They're my aunties. And Pac says, yeah, the bills are on bund and that's it. Thank you. Pac, thank you. And made up, thank you. Shanghai got it. Resemble the three. Yes. Thank you, Pac. I was saying, sir, you know, when Robin Gibb, the soccer. He says it's a wonder nobody's ever, like, trying to copy. I said, it is. It's in Shanghai. I said, I looked that up. I said, look, fucking Google then, you know what I mean? He never walks around with a big phone. I said, I'll Google that. When I first met him, when I was asked that, I said, oh, no. Anyway, I met him. When I first met him, shaking my hands. And I went, and he looked at me like, I must have thought I was nuts. So I said, it's humour. I said, Robin, it's humour. Saturday Night Fever. Staying alive. He was laughing his head off there. So we got onto it, good footing, and he just enjoyed everything I told. Sound, mate. That'll do, mate. That'll do. Well done, poet, lads. I'll do that. And Phil says, thanks, Frank and chat. Early night for me, says to Phil. Oh, good night, Phil. Thank you, sir. I tell you, Phil. My granddaughter, Sophia, looked at the ninja and she went, oh, should have seen. You know what I mean, Phil? And Archie says, I have got an American coming over. He plays with the Beach Boys and the Monkey. Go away. I haven't played drums but he wants me back. Go away. Go away, Archie, lad. Go away. Brilliant, mate. And he plays with the Monkeys and the Beach Boys. Phil B. Lucky says, Mr. B. East Kilbride. East Kilbride. Oh, there's a there thing. Mr. Jimlers. I like it. Not watched you since my friend Ed Gilchrist passed away. Oh, yeah, Ed. Show you something. Jimlers. Show you something, mate. Just bear with me on this. Bear with me. Jimlet. Sorry about this. It's got to be shown. It's got to be shown. I'm coming to it. Thought that was it then. I have got it. Fuck. Oh, there it is. There it is. Can you see it? You can't see it, can you? Well, there's Ed there, and there's White Top. There's a fella named Ian Golder and me. And our Francine and a mate's got black hair. So there's Ed Gilchrist there, look. I was in the Cavern pub, though. The Cavern pub. Mr. Jimmy's. Condolences. Mr. B. Buonanotte, mio caro amico. Buonanotte. Buonanotte, mio amico. Mio amico, Mr. B. Signore B. And Toscana, most Italian families have a Francesco and Maria in the family. Yeah, but I was called Francis. I was called Francis after my granddad, whose name was Francesco. I forget what she said. Me mum, she said, it was easier to pronounce. I said, oh, okay. And this was years, this is when I was growing up, you know. So why didn't he call me after my granddad and my uncle? It was easier to pronounce Francis. Anyway. And on that note, wonderful note, I'll see you on, I'll do something on Wednesday. It could be football, it could be anything, to be honest. I'd just like to thank everybody for joining me tonight, keeping me company. And let's hope I'll do some football and some history. How about that? Have a mixture. And sub the World Cup. And on that note, I'm going to say a good night, especially to our Italian friends. Buonanotte. Buonanotte. Ci vediamo. See you soon. And to all us English-speaking whatnots, thank you. I'll see you Wednesday. Ciao.